Auburn football fans. Once again, it's Kennard Vernon Stewart here for the podcast. We're talking Auburn football. Go ahead and like the video, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle. A lot of stuff happening in the Auburn stratosphere. Got some guys that have come on to join the Tigers. Donovan Kaufman, the latest. Now, here's the situation with Donovan Kaufman. The SEC has a rule right now that is kind of incongruent to the NCAA rule that will be voted on early June that says pretty much guys can't transfer inter-conference, okay? But the thing is, there's going to be some situations to where some of the powers that be in the conference won't be beneficiaries of this rule if they don't pass it. I think the main teams that are going to be probably opposed to this is going to be the Georgias and the Alabamas of the world. They recruit very well, and they're like, hey, I don't see the need of it. But of course you're not going to see the need of it because you get all the guys in the first place. But either way, the question on the floor, which we're going to get into deep detail on, is we want to see who's going to be the top 10 defense in college football. Rumor has it Auburn could actually be on that list. But there are some detractors that we're going to talk about as well. Auburn actually hired Derek Mason as defensive coordinator in lieu of Gus Malzahn being fired, Kevin Steele being fired, goes to Tennessee. He makes like $1 million in a week, but that's neither here nor there. But the question on the floor for all of those who may be interested is, who's going to be among the top 10 defenses in college football? One I know for sure is going to be Georgia. And they've done it over the past couple of years. They've really recruited well, and they played very well on defense. And they've kept teams at bay as far as points scored. Now, albeit the common denominator with both teams of Auburn and Georgia, the inflated team has been Alabama. Who would have guessed that Alabama would be the team that scores, upwards of 30 to 40 points, even against their best competition? We remember Alabama from back early, mid 2000s. On in the 2010s, they not score a lot of points, but things changed around 2013 to where Alabama scores a lot of points and they can inflate that particular stat, and they have been able to do so. Didn't do it with Georgia in the national championship game. I think both teams were, under 30 points in that one. But either way, let's talk about it. Let's dive deep into this. So, Auburn, for example, I'm going to revisit a comment that I made on not all about Auburn, but the War Report, when I had a chance to join as a guest on their Facts or Not. And the question is, will Auburn have a top 10 defense? I said facts, big facts. And I want to elaborate on those big facts, because I don't want to just put something out there and just say, okay, it is what it is. But I want to let you guys know that Auburn has a really unique opportunity to really make this thing happen, to be one of the top 10 defense as far as points allowed. We're just going to assume that we're talking about points allowed. And I'm going to go with the premise of this. Derek Mason has the tools that he needs to make this happen. And another tool is the fact that he's done it before. He did it at Stanford, 2012, 2013, top 10 defenses in the country, which is why he is in the position that he is now. Head coach at Vanderbilt. I'm going to lazily and almost irresponsibly say that a head coaching job at Vanderbilt could be equivalent to a coordinator job at Auburn. That might be some old irresponsible, but I'm going to stick by it. Can Auburn have a top 10? Yeah, I think they can. Now, here's how they're going to have to do it, though. Auburn has Akron, Alabama State for the first two games. You got to have either single-digit points out of that or just straight up goose eggs. Don't let them score. And that's assuming that Auburn even cares about this kind of stat. But don't even let them score because you don't have to. You have one of the better defenses in the country, linebackers returning. You're getting guys from the transfer portal. There's no need for hey, let's just take it easy on them. Let the third string come. No, shut those guys out. Because if you want to have a top 10 defense, statistically, that's what you're going to have to do. Because guess where you got to go in week 3? You got to go to Penn State. Are you going to shut them out? Probably not. As you get into SEC West play, Arkansas is a team that you probably can hold to minimal points. 14, maybe 20 at the most. Got Texas A&M. Who knows what Texas A&M is going to do, because Texas A&M has lost a lot of offensive linemen. We don't know what they have in store. And then you look at Georgia for Auburn. Georgia hadn't just lit it up on Auburn. They just beat them, scoring 27 points in 2020, scoring 21 points in 2019. Not, really not too bad. Considering that Georgia, really recruits on a better level than Auburn. I think Auburn has competed pretty well. But the X factor is going to be this. Alabama comes to Auburn this year. Alabama has scored at least 30 points or more in those visits. That's going to be the key. And assuming that Auburn can take care of business prior to Alabama's arrival. So, let me know what you think. Do I think Auburn can have a top 10 defense as far as points allowed? For sure. Given all elements, hell yeah, I think they can do it. But if they don't execute early and don't execute against the teams that they can make this happen against, then absolutely not. Kennard Vernon Stewart here for the podcast. Talking Auburn football. Go ahead and like the video, comment, and subscribe. Let's go ahead and get this thing over. I think now we're at 4,336. Let's get this thing over 4,340 tonight. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle.